Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Comey, Admiral Rogers, thank you for your service and thank you for being here. Understanding that what both of you have been saying about the classified nature of the investigation, the classified nature of the topics we're talking about, can you give us any indication of when we, the committee, may, in a classified setting, know something from you? Would we have ongoing updates?
Mr. LoBiondo, I don't know how long the work will take. I can't commit to updates. As you know, I have briefed the committee as a whole on some aspects of our work, and I've briefed in great detail the chair and the ranking. I don't know. I can't predict or commit to updates. But as your work goes on, we're in constant touch with you, and we'll do the best we can, but I can't commit to that as I sit here.
So as the House Intelligence Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee are conducting our bipartisan investigations and looking wherever it may lead with individuals or circumstances, if you, through the FBI investigation, come across a circumstance with an individual or a situation, would we be made aware of that under normal course of business?
Not necessarily, but it's possible.
Okay. So can you, either Director Comey or Admiral Rogers, tell us what we are doing or what we should be doing to protect against Russian interference in future elections or any meddling with our government, or for that matter, any state sponsor, Iranians, North Koreans, Chinese, with any meddling they may be doing?
So first, I think a public discussion and acknowledgement of the activity is a good positive first step because it shines a flashlight on this, if you will. It illuminates a significant issue that I think we all have to deal with. There's a variety of ongoing efforts, both within the government as well as in the private sector, in terms of how do we harden our defenses. I think we also need to have a discussion about just what, for example, does critical infrastructure mean in the 21st century? I don't think we traditionally would have thought of an election infrastructure as critical. We traditionally viewed critical infrastructure as something that generated an industrial output, aviation, electricity, finance. I don't think we've traditionally thought about it in the informational kind of dynamic. I think that's a challenge for us coming ahead. And then continued partnership between the elements within the government as well as in the private sector. That's the key to the future to me.
So just for the record, I also had a whole list of specific questions about individuals and or circumstances that don't want to be repetitive and have you say I can't comment on them. But I would anticipate when we move to classified session that this committee will be able to explore some of those situations in a little more depth. I have a couple of other questions about the Russian intervention, but I don't have enough time to get into it right now, Mr. If you could give me a couple minutes when we get to the next round. Okay. So very briefly, if you can describe the elements of the Russia's active measures in the campaign in the 2016 election. We've only got 35 seconds, but that's the first thing I want to get to about exactly what they were doing, if you can tell us anything about that.
So we saw cyber used. We saw the use of external media. We saw the use of disinformation. We saw the use of leaking of information, much of which was not altered. I mean, we saw several, if you will, common traits that we have both seen over time, as well as I would argue that the difference this time was the cyber dimension and the fact that the release of so much information that they had extracted via cyber is a primary tool to try to drive an outcome.
So in this setting, can you talk to us at all about what tools they used?
I'm not going to go into the specifics of how they executed the hacks. I apologize, no, sir.
We'll try to get into that in classified. I'll hold off for now. Thank you.